Hi Beth, welcome to the channel membership. Thank you so much for joining. I hope that I can help to accelerate your progress in the violin. So I watched your video and I can see that you're making a lot of progress with the Oscar reading piece, and I know that you wanted me to take a look at your thumb and the general shape of your fingers on the fingerboard. And I can tell from the video that your thumb placement is much improved. So I can see that it's sticking out more, and if I turn to the side here, I can see that you're maintaining a really good flexible thumb, especially when you're shifting into third position. I can see that you're able to control the amount of counter pressure that you're applying to the neck of the violin against the fingers, and release that counter pressure to slide into the new position. So that's very, very nice to see. And the rest of the fingers, I can tell that you understand the main difference now between cello and violin hold, and you know, from your video you're able to maintain this type of hand frame most of the time. I think towards the end your frame is kind of broken down a little bit. I think when you started to apply vibrato, that's when you started to kind of revert back into the way that you were doing it, you know, the side-to-side motion like this, which is actually very, very difficult for me to show because I can feel all kinds of tension around this part of my hand. And I think what's happening is that your bass knuckle, you're orienting it to be more parallel to the string, and this to me is very problematic. As I've said, it's creating a lot of tension. So I think in this video I want to show you quickly what my hand frame looks like close up and how I maintain this shape even when I'm doing vibrato. So let's see if I can show you. So the first finger here, can you see how square it looks? So from the bass knuckle, it's coming up, across, and down. It's looking very boxy. And next finger down, pretty similar, except maybe there's more space here. And then third finger down. So as you can see, as you move further away from the index finger, there's more room here, so it's less boxy. I mean, it's still pretty angular, but there's more space here. And now the fourth finger. The fourth finger, I would say, is the most neutral out of all of the fingers. It's more curved and rounded in comparison to the rest of the fingers. This is creating more of an arch from the bass knuckle up, across, and down. And this is the frame that we want to maintain on the violin. So the question is, how do we actually maintain this while we're doing vibrato? So let's look at the index finger. Now, how do we vibrate from this position? I would like you to try to do this. Can you see? I'm collapsing the finger essentially from this knuckle and then bringing it back into the box position like this. Next finger, collapse it and then bring it back. Third finger, collapse and then bring it back. And this is allowing me to maintain this frame without reverting to this type of side-to-side motion. Again, this is very different from this, which is easier for the hand. Now, the other thing that I wanted to mention in this video, which I hope will reinforce a good hand frame for you, is being aware of the different string levels. I think you're already aware of that for the bow. You know, when you're changing string levels, you're involving the whole arm, like this. And from your video, I can see that maybe your shoulder is a little bit frozen. Maybe it's difficult to, you know, to shoot this type of video in this angle, so maybe it's frozen in that way. But I would like you to try this exercise where you know, you're placing all of your fingers in first position in this finger spacing pattern where the second and third finger are touching together like this, and then so from the E string to the A string, involving the whole arm, D string and G string. So you can see that my elbow is moving from the back of the room forward as I go down to the lower strings. And if I stay here on G string and move to the higher position, this is going to bring my elbow in. That's why it's so difficult to play on the G string, because everything feels kind of closed off. So yeah, being aware of the string levels is extremely important, and it's going to help with a lot of things. For instance, you know, accuracy with intonation. If you're moving your fingers from string to string without involving the whole arm, it's gonna be I would say it's gonna be more difficult. So if you involve the whole arm without moving the fingers, all the fingers need to do is just to drop in place, and it's going to reduce mistakes. It's going to help you to find the center of the pitch, is what I'm trying to say. Much easier. So the other thing that it's going to help with is maintaining this line from the elbow to the wrist to the base knuckles. And I am very, very guilty of playing in this way sometimes when I'm very, very preoccupied, you know, with what I'm learning on the sheet music, when I'm troubleshooting something and I'm not aware of my frame, I'm kind of neglecting it. I end up doing this kind of bent wrist. So we just want to bring it in, and usually an indication of bent wrist is when you're not in the right string level. So and also if you're reaching and you're pushing that wrist out, that can really affect your hand frame. So just be aware of the wrist when you're changing levels, and that should help, I think. And if I show you what this looks like in action, I'll play a little bit of the Oscar reading for you, and just notice how my elbow is moving along with my fingers.